Ty Mumford, and I'm going to be performing The Bonsai Chef by Dave Barry. Today's culinary topic is how to make sushi. I happen to be an expert on this topic, because I recently put in a stint as a chef at an actual sushi restaurant. One of the first things you learn to do as a sushi chef is how to put in a stint. Before I give you the details, I should explain to you, for the benefit of those of you who live in remote wilderness regions, such as Iowa, what sushi is. Basically, it's a type of cuisine developed by the Japanese as part of an ancient tradition of seeing what is the scariest thing they can get you to eat raw. The way they do this is, they start by serving you a nice, non-threatening piece of fish, from which all identifying fish parts have been removed. The fish is safe to eat and tasty. The trick is that it's served with a green condiment called wasabi, which is the Japanese word for nuclear horseradish. This is an extremely spicy substance, the formula for which must never be allowed to fall into the hands of Al-Qaeda. If you put more than 2 wasabi molecules on your sushi and eat it, your hair will burst into flames. So after eating some wasabi, you naturally order a cool, refreshing Japanese beer to pour on your head. And perhaps, since you have the bottle in your hand anyway, wet your whistle with. The result is that your judgment becomes impaired, which is when they start trying to get you to eat prank food, such as sea urchin eggs. Sea urchins are vicious, golf ball-shaped, poison-spined sea creatures whose sole ecological purpose is to ruin your tropical vacation by deliberately not getting out of your way when you're wading barefoot. If you eat the eggs of this creature and fail to chew them thoroughly, you could develop an alarming medical condition that doctors call baby sea urchins walking around inside your body, poking holes in your spleen. Despite this, I happen to be a big fan of non-prank sushi. And so when Bach and, the proprietor of Sakura, my local sushi restaurant in Coral Gables, Florida, invited me to be a guest sushi chef, I enthusiastically answered, no. I was afraid I'd have to touch an eel. I am 51 years old, and I did not get this far by touching eels. But Bach assured me we'd stick to the basic fish species, such as tuna, salmon, and cucumber. And thus I found myself, one day, standing behind the sushi bar, wearing a samurai-style headband, blending in perfectly with the other sushi chefs. Except that my headband was actually the belt of my bathrobe. Fox stood next to me and prepared various sushi items, and I attempted to imitate him. Here's the recipe. You start with a little rectangle made of dried seaweed. I asked Bach where the seaweed comes from, thinking he'd name some ancient Japanese seaside village. And he said, a distributor. Then you pick up a glob of special sticky rice and spread it evenly on the seaweed. At least that's what Bach did. The majority of my rice remained firmly stuck to my hands and started migrating to other parts of my body. I may have to have it removed surgically. Then you cut up your ingredients using an extremely sharp, lethal-looking sushi knife, which causes professional sushi chefs to become very nervous when it is being wielded by a professional humor columnist. Then you take these ingredients and put them on the rice and execute the secret sushi rolling technique, which is difficult to describe in English words, as you can see by this actual transcript of Bach explaining it to me. Okay, you go like this, boom, then you go boom, boom, boom. And then I tried. Remember the movie Karate Kid, where the mean bully beats up Ralph Macchio? But then Ralph studies karate under Mr. Miyagi. And then finally, in the big tournament, with everyone watching, Ralph stuns the bully by rolling a reasonably tight cucumber roll. That's what I did. In fact, I may have a knack for it. So if you ever walk into a Japanese restaurant and see a man-sized blob of rice wearing a blue bathrobe belt on his head, standing behind the sushi bar, Feel free to say hi, but keep your distance if I'm holding a knife.
Oh.